Hey guys, on behalf of Dmanagement Group, we welcome you to our video report regarding Relational Database Management System, or most commonly known as RDBMS. In this video, we will be discussing MySQL Database Management System, particularly focusing on its latest version 5.5. First, I'd like to give you an outline of this report. This report will cover several sections. We will be discussing MySQL's history in general. Basically, we will casually look at the timeline of MySQL beginning from its creation and its first release after version 5.5 arrival. Second part will be focused on its features. Third will be a combination of MySQL's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and even threats. Lastly, we will be showing you a quick overview on how MySQL operates. We will take a good look at the command line interface and how to use it to access MySQL's powerful security model. At the end of this video report, we would strongly recommend to you guys to go and check out MySQL's official website for more details. Looking at this site would significantly enlighten you more about MySQL products. So let's get started and hope you will enjoy the rest of this video report. MySQL was named after co-founder Michael Widener's daughter Mai, and the SQL phrase stands for Structured Query Language. And it is by far the most popular relational database management system from small to medium-sized web projects. As we talk about MySQL, it is important to understand what MySQL is and what it isn't. It is a database management system. It's not going to manage database for you without another application to support it. MySQL is a database management system consisting of a database server, which manages the data and performs the basic CRUD operation, that is create, read, update, and delete. It is a set of client libraries, easily interfaces for applications to connect to the database server. For more information on these APIs and connections, or connectors, you could go see this link. It includes a full command line client, a full-featured client capable of performing all the operations necessary to manage and operate the database server. MySQL is a full-featured database management system. It has all the components you need to incorporate into a full-featured database application that will scale well and serve your need in managing large amount of data for a long term. It is the world's most popular open source database and is the market leader in powering online businesses today, deployed in scale at companies like Facebook, Google, Amazon, Yahoo, and a lot more to mention. MySQL is an open source database management system product, initially owned by MySQL AB, a company founded in 1995 in Sweden. MySQL's story started in the 1980s, when Michael Monty Widenus began coding the product. Monty began the development of the MySQL server in the 1980s. In 1995, the first solid product version was ready, and Monty, together with David Axmark, decided to establish a company around the product. By the late 1990s, the company had achieved a remarkable user base with its great technology solution. Restricting company size to around 10 to 15 employees and about €1 million in revenue. The founders realized that with the excellent product performance and enthusiastic adoption by a user community, which counted in the millions and continued to expand, there was true potential for building a scalable global business. In 2000, MySQL founders developed the first extensive business plan, strengthened the board of directors, and hired Martin Mikos as CEO. Martin Mikos then led the MySQL business from a small company of about 15 persons with around €1 million in revenue to a large global industry player over 500 persons with some $50 to $100 million in revenue. Let us now have a look at this MySQL's timeline. MySQL was first released internally May 1995. a Windows version released on January 8, 1998 for Windows 95 and NT. Version 3.23 production release January 2001. Version 4.0 production release March 2003. Feature unions. Version 4.1 production release October 2004. Features R3s and B3s, subqueries, prepared statements. Version 5.0 production release October 2005. Features cursors, stored, procedures, triggers, views, XA transactions. Sun Microsystems acquires MySQL AB on 26th of February 2008. Version 5.1 production release 27th of November 2008. Key features: event scheduler, partitioning, plug-in API, row-based replication, service log tables. Version 5.1 contained 20 known crashing and wrong result bugs in addition to the 35 present in version 5.0. Now, almost all fixed as of release of 5.1.51. Oracle acquired Sun Microsystems on 27th of January 2010. MySQL Server 5.5 is currently generally available as of December 2010, and this version is where our report will be focusing on. Okay, that would be all for the history, and we hope that you were able to digest some of its important milestones along its way. MySQL 5.5 is 15 times faster than older MySQL versions, such as 5.1. Here are some features added on MySQL version 5.5. Cross-platform support. It supports Linux, Windows, Mac OS. Another one is stored procedure. Here's an example of stored procedure. Procedure's name, procedure's body, and here's how you call it. You hit enter, you get whatever you stated on your procedure's body. So basically, what I asked for the procedure to do is select everything from student list. Student list, which is basically this table in here, and this is what I got. Everything from that table. Next one is trigger. A database trigger is procedural code that is automatically executed in response to certain events. Here's a good example. Two tables, student list, student tracks. Anything that will be changed in these two fields, student ID, last name, would be tracked in this table. So this is what we have in our student list table. Notice that my surname is Del Rosario. Now I want to change that to some other surname, and here is what we have from this student tracks table. At the moment it's empty, so what we have to do is change records from these tables in here so we could test the trigger. So update student list, which is the table that we would like to update, and then set last name equals to, say I want to change my last name to Casella, right? And then put a where condition so we will not mistakenly change everything. Where let's say student ID is equal to 1, because that's me. My student ID is 1, right? So we just hit enter. That's it. So now select from student list. As you will notice, my surname has been changed from Del Rosario to Casella. Del Rosario to Casella. Now we wanted to see what happened to our table student tracks. So select everything from student tracks. You would notice previously it is actually empty, right? Empty set. But this time around, when you hit enter, there you go, you get one. MySQL select everything from student tracks, ID 1, which is auto increment, student ID, that's my student ID, last name, Del Rosario, change on the date, it was changed and the action was updated. So basically, all this record here comes from this creation of the trigger code. So I create the trigger before student list update, before update on student list, which is the table. For each row, basically what I ask is insert into student tracks, the other table. I ask the database to set the action field to updated, and then the student ID to old student ID. Obviously, the old student ID, I did not change any from my student ID. So the last name from old last name, which is my old last name, right? And then change on, it's basically now, you know, the date when the user changed a record. So that's how the trigger works. We have created our procedures, we have created our trigger. The next one is information schema. So going back to this, what you could see in here is the information schema. Information schema is a database within each MySQL instance, the place that stores information about all other databases that the MySQL server maintains. The information schema databases contain several read-only tables. They are actually views, not base tables. Here is what you would see if you ever tried to look into the information schema database. Like I said, several tables, read-only. InnoDB as its default storage engine. The focus has been on InnoDB's special locking and memory management, different from MyISAM table type. InnoDB table are transaction safe and supports row-level locking. Foreign keys are supported in InnoDB tables. The data file of InnoDB table can be stored in more than one file, so the size of the table depends on the disk space. Last one, but not the least, is reasonable scalability. Scalability on multi-core CPU is improved. The trend in hardware development now is toward more cores rather than continued increases in CPU clock speeds. Basically, MySQL 5.5 takes advantage of features of SMP systems and tries to eliminate bottlenecks in MySQL architectures that hinder full use of multiple cores. So for more information of MySQL features, please check this website. Many websites have to provide dynamic content and/or collection data from visitors. Thus, there arises the need to have some data storage and retrieval functionality in the web application. As many web developers have discovered, MySQL 5.5 is a perfect tool for this kind of job. Let us look on some of MySQL strengths. Great market penetration. MySQL has the biggest market share of any open source database. Almost any web hosting company can provide MySQL access, and books and articles about MySQL and PHP are almost everywhere. Easy to get started. After your database is set up and you have access to it, managing the database is straightforward. Tools such as MySQL Administrator or PHPMyAdmin let you manage your database easily. Open source license for most users. The Free Software Foundation, or FSF, distributes MySQL under the terms of the General Public License. This license allows you to use the software free of charge for both commercial and non-commercial purposes. More information about GPL, including the full text of the license agreement, can be found at this link. Speed. MySQL has been relatively fast, much due to its simplicity. So basically, because it's free to obtain, easy to install and configure, and providing excellent performance and stability. Now let's talk about weakness. Oh, by the way, just before we forget, this link will give you much clearer picture of MySQL strength. Now let's talk about weakness. I cannot think of MySQL version 5.5 weaknesses right now, but one thing that is considerably not so good about it is that if you bundle MySQL server or client with a commercial closed source product, you need to purchase a license. MySQL AB has published a FOSS or free or open source software exception to MySQL license that grants all free or open source products an exception from this restriction. Alright, opportunity. MySQL is the world's most popular open source database software. Many of the world's largest organizations, including Yahoo, Alcatel, the Associated Press, Suzuki, and NASA, they're all rely on MySQL for their critical business applications. The MySQL team is a global distributed organization. About 70% of employees work from home in 135 major locations in 35 countries across 18 time zones. They work, meet, and collaborate online. Apart from private companies utilizing MySQL team has their own MySQL job opportunities as well. So for more information, please check this site. So let's talk about MySQL threats in terms of competitions. MySQL 5.6 is on its development stage, with a number of new and still experimental features for the open source database system, including replication and the ability to bypass the SQL framework for faster data access. With this pending version of MySQL 5.6, Oracle and outside developers have strengthened the way the software handles data replication, as well as potentially shortening the software's response time to complex query. In regard to replication, MySQL introduces Global Transactions Identifiers, or GTIDs, which assure the system can track data as it is replicated across different servers. GTIDs will ease the process of automatically switching to a duplicate server should the original fail. Third-party software now offers this capability, but this will be the first time MySQL itself can do the job. And looking on the business perspective, that is considerably a threat to third-party software developers.